Whew. That's that theme music.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Fab, Freddie Fox, America's Big Brother, and we back with another episode of the Saturday Night Sit Down. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Fab, Freddie Fox, America's Big Brother, and we are here with another episode of the Saturday Night Sit Down. And today I got the pleasure and honor of sitting down with Mr. Young Executive himself, King Carl Mitchell. What's up going on, man?
Let's go, Fred.
How are you, man? How you doing,
Everything's absolutely incredible, man.
Yeah,
I'm so glad to be here, man.
And I'm excited, man.
This is a different seat for me.
Exactly. And I had to get you in here, man. Like, so just off the rip, man, I was put on to you by my twin, my brother Mish. You know what I'm saying? He referred you, so I gotta give
Mish, man.
That's my boy.
Good.
I known him since the first grade, man. Me and him.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Wow. Me and Mish for over 30 years now. Me and my boy Mish go back.
I love it.
You know, and
I met him at Marshall's.
Yeah,
a long time ago. I was a teenager. I was working at Marshall's, but yeah.
Yeah, so you know what I mean, like, and he put me on to you. What I'm saying, I was looking for a studio. He said I know somebody and stuff, and I already know. Like I said, I know him like better than the back of my hand. So he told me about you. I was like, all right, I know this is good people. There's somebody I can rock with. And then when I met you, before we say anything, just your vibe, your presence, your energy, man, is so positive and uplifting. And it was so inspiring. And I gotta say, like, it was one of the first times I think a man has ever said to me, yo, what's up, King, and referred to me as a king. And that was such a positive and just a feel good and just really, really just put me in a positive place, man. So I thank you for that. And that's why today I had to rock the custom.
Let's go.
The King Fab today. I made the King Fab shirt just for today, man, as a thank you to you for that, man. You feel me?
It's very fitting for you. I got my King shirt on. I got my crown on. You got your crown on. Man, listen, I've been embraced by my brothers as the N-word.
Right.
It feels good.
Yeah.
That's what we're accustomed to. But that we embrace it as a term of endearment. But is it really?
You know, it's got a lot of negative ties to it, you know what I mean? And I know we're trying to flip it around and stuff, but we're still using that word and still associating that with each other, you know what I mean?
We're accustomed to it. But should that be how we addressing our brothers?
Exactly.
Should that be how we addressing a young black man, a young black king, a young black god? I don't think so. So, you know, not too long ago, I switched it to king. You know, instead of calling women the B word, I switched it to queen. You know, I understand there's a lot of labels that you can call that. Music dictates a lot of the things that we say and we do and how we act. Let's switch it up. King, queen. That's just what I refer to men and women.
And it's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing. And just off of that was one of the things where I was like, you know what, I know I could really vibe with this dude, man. This dude is amazing. But the other thing that really, really got me like, man, like this is somebody that's very, very powerful and just very on a whole bunch of positivity. Because at the end of that episode, when I was doing that, we were sitting here and you was transferring the music, and one of our producers on the production team had said something. It was like, oh yeah, man, I'm so stupid, and you immediately stopped what you was doing. Like it was so you were so offended by that. Like I know you were so focused, but I caught it, and you were just like, whoa, hold on. You need to rephrase that. You know what I mean? You can't do that
here. We don't do that here. Everything you say after the words "I am" is your reality.
Right.
So if we take it back to biblical times, Moses was he was an introvert. He was shy. He was intimidated by his potential, and he didn't even believe in himself like that. Mm-hmm. He trusted God. So when God said, "You're the one," he was like, "You're probably mistaken. But just in case you're right, who should I say sent me?" God himself said, "I am." Anything you need in that moment, I am that. If you lack confidence, I am. If you lack, courage, I am. So when he went out to the field and started being the leader that he is, he said, "I am sent me. So anything you say after the words I am is your reality. So if you say I am dumb, I am stupid, I am incapable of doing, that's your reality, because you believe that. Because when you say the words I am, you are summoning the power of God that is within you. I don't say words like that. I'm highly offended when anyone says that. I am incredible. I am a king. I am the son of God. Like God sent me here to fulfill my purpose.
Right.
That's how I gotta live. So when you say I am dumb, I'm highly offended by that. So yeah, I gotta pause people when they say that. It's happened to me. Like I was in a situation when I was doing a youth empowerment show, and I said, hey, we're gonna have a pop quiz right now. We're gonna. I was planning on testing the kids on what they just heard from the last speaker.
Right.
But the word pop quiz triggers something in kids. They was like, oh no, I can't do a pop quiz. No, I can't do it. I'm dumb. I'm dumb. I'm stupid. I stopped the whole show. I had to address that right then and there, because that is so highly offensive. You are cultivating, you're creating something that is so real that we gotta make sure that it's positive. Because if you say I am and it's something negative, I don't want you to face that type of reality.
Yeah, no, and I said that too a couple of times. Like when we were in that conversation, another thing that I brought up was a quote that I heard, and it goes, don't speak badly about yourself, because a warrior inside hears that and is weakened by that. And that's something that I kind of associated with that too. And also it all goes into like the law of attraction and like speaking things into the universe. Whatever you say, that's your reality. That's what's going to happen. So you got to choose your words very, very carefully. That's what I am with my daughter. With my daughter, as you can see, you met her last week, man. She's a beautiful little thing.
She's amazing.
And that's from the rip. Like I told her own little mantra. I said, listen, I'm beautiful. I'm smart. I am brave. I am capable. And I tell her to say that all the time. Whenever you face something, she's like, Daddy, I'm scared. I said, no. I'm beautiful. I'm brave. I'm strong. And I'm capable. That's what you need to remember to say, baby. Because it is like you said, whatever you speak into the universe, that is your reality. That's what you're gonna bring on to you. Because whether like everybody says, like another powerful quote, like they say, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're
Either
right.
way, you're right. Yes, come on.
So you got to be very, very careful with those things.
Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. Sometimes it's not the enemy, but the inner me that holds us back. We think our way out of success. We think our way out of opportunities. We think our way out of our God-given birthright. I don't think that could. No, that can't be me. No.
Yeah. Like it says, at the end of the day, we're our own worst enemy. We could definitely just tear ourselves down and all those things. So those are the reasons and stuff like that why I knew that you had so much to offer and why I had to get you on my show. I know you're very, very busy, man. Things going around, but that's why I said, I need to get him on here and talk to him, because he has so much to offer to the younger generation. And that's how my show's about. Reaching out to the younger generation, trying to encourage them, give them advice, and really give them positive role models to look up to. People that they can look at and say, hey, he looks like me. He can do what I could do. I have somebody to look up to now, instead of, like it comes to the music, man. A lot of, like you said, the music thing, and all these rappers, they're going off on these wrong things, and people and the young ones start to idolize the wrong things.
Seeing a positive example of success is how I turn my life around. So I'm going to give a big shout out to my dad. My dad has always been there since I was a kid, right? But early on, my dad wasn't successful. He struggled, right? We worked 3 jobs, and we were still struggling with the bills. But when I looked on the corner, I saw the hustler that had the cars, the clothes, the money, the girls, and I thought that's what success was. So for a long time, I became a follower because I thought the dude on the corner was successful. And it wasn't until I was about 19 or 20 years old I met my mentor. He was then a multi-millionaire, and he showed me how to be a millionaire in business. That was the first time I saw a young black man that looked like me, that had success, never sold drugs, never rapped, never played ball. It blew my mind when I saw that example of success. So everything I try to do is to provide positive examples of success, like you, like me, like every guest that you had on the show, because we need to see more like it.
Right.
That's why I created my youth empowerment show and so many other things, because it was like we need more examples of success.
No, definitely. We got to do that. So, as you know, man, like my show comes down to a certain few questions. So my first question to you, as I ask everybody else,
Let's get into it.
Is for you, what do you think are some of the main qualities or characteristics that make up a good man or a good person?
I'm the hip hop quote guy, right? I got to quote Jadakiss. Jadakiss says, I don't know you, but I know a man becomes a man from all the things that he goes through. We experience a lot of things that can make or break us.
Yeah.
It's how you handle that as a man that makes you who you are. Everybody experiences pressure. Everybody experiences obstacles. Everybody experiences hardships. How are you going to handle that? The way you maneuver through those difficulties is what makes you a man. Your integrity, the way you persevere, the way you look situations in the face and overcome them is what makes you a man. There's no real man that hasn't gone through something.
Absolutely.
The way you handle yourself as a man makes you a man. I don't know you, but I know a man becomes a man from all the things that he goes through.
Definitely. And that's another reason why like I do this show and bring these in and talk to people from all different types of walks of life, because we're never going to experience everything in life.
Right.
But we can learn and see, and through others people's experiences, learn from those things. Like there's a book that I've been reading. It's called Karma Yogi's Guide to Self-Development or something like that. And it talks about really explaining karma is it's much bigger than just, do good things and good things happen, do bad things and bad things happen. Right. It's everything you do, everything. It's a consequence really of all your actions. Even and it goes on long, and it's not just about your physical things, it's about your mental, your spiritual energy, and all those things, because that leaves an imprint. Like now we can sit there and we talk about people that passed away, like Martin Luther King, right. Muhammad Ali, right. Malcolm X, all these people, they you know what I'm saying, they're gone, but their energy and their karma is still here from all the things that they were able to do. You know what I mean? And again, we cannot erase that. So we have to be very careful, like we say, what we speak out into the universe, how we treat things, what we think, all the things that we put out there, because it's going to leave a lasting impression long before we're gone. And even now as a parent, I see that even more, because even I catch my daughter doing things that I do, not that I teach her, because she's constantly watching me. So all my actions are leaving a karmic imprint on her as well. So I have to really pick and choose and understand and really be mindful, extremely mindful of everything that I do and say. Because again, not only it's not just going to impact me, it's going to impact the world, my kids, and everything on that comes after, everything that I touch or come across. So I think that's very, very important, like you said, about, like I said, what it is that as a man, what he goes through and how he acts and how he does things. Because again, everything that you do is going to leave some sort of imprint somewhere along your life. So you got to be careful of what kind of energy and what kind of imprint you want to leave, and like you said about integrity, that's being one of the big things there too, and being mindful of that. And also about those characters as being a man, we also have, everybody has a different set of morals, or a different moral code that they live by. For you, what are some of your most important morals that you live by, that you hold dear to your heart on a day-to-day basis?
That's great questions, man. Honesty, integrity, and your priorities. Being intentional. being intentional is so real, and having a strong reason why. As far as integrity is concerned, again, quoting a great rapper, 50 Cent, he said, I got a lot of living to do before I die, and I ain't got time to waste. Some of my biggest lessons have happened after I was not intentional. I've gotten into a lot of car accidents, a lot of crazy things that happened to me, and I've always felt like God is teaching me a lesson because I haven't learned to be intentional with the time that He has granted me. Chilling with women that I don't see a future with, doing things that don't really have a purpose. Like, I really feel like I got a mission in my life, and when I steer all the way to the left, God really has to shake me up to wake me up. So I've had some car accidents that He has brought me through that have really woken me up. And the night before I was supposed to sign for this building, I had a car accident. And it was because I was hanging out with women I wasn't supposed to be hanging out with, doing things I wasn't supposed to be doing, and I was wasting the time that God has granted me. This life is a gift. Time is the most precious element that we have. I got a lot of living to do before I die, and I ain't got time to waste. I had to learn that through a car accident that almost cost me my life. And because I signed the paperwork for this building while I was in a hospital bed, I don't take a moment in this building for granted. Integrity. Being transparent, being honest, and living life with a purpose. You got to discover your reason why. You have to discover your reason why. Your reason why for doing whatever you're doing is bigger than, I want to make a lot of money. No. Yeah, that's not enough. No. Are you living with a purpose? Are you living for someone? Are you living to do something? Are you living to make an impact? Are you living to change generations? What are you doing? And if what you're doing in life has a purpose, if and when you die, it's never going to be in vain. Mm-hmm. Nipsey passed away and he left a legacy because his whole mindset was on marathon. It's not about what we're doing today. It's about how what we're doing today is going to last generations. His impact, his life is going to impact people that are not yet born. Mm-hmm. That's a marathon. That's a legacy. So that's everything that I strive for.
And that's his karmic imprint right there. Like I said, I mean, he's gone, but everything that he did and all his actions took place are going to resonate into everything that goes on. It was in the book too that I was reading too. It was like, and I think it goes on to, like you said, what about living with intention and all this is the purpose, right? Mm-hmm. It was a father and son, right? They're sitting on the edge of the lake, and he says, "Son," he picks up a little stone, and he says, "Son, this is my life." And he throws it into the lake, and it starts the ripple effect. Mm. And he sees, look at that. You see the ripples? You see how they constantly go out, out, and out, and out, and out. It was just that one small action, my one small life. And you see the effect that it has on this entire lake. So you got to be mindful of what you say and what you do and all things that you got to do. Like you said, dealing with a purpose, with meaning. Because, again, that ripple effect is going to carry out through the entirety of this world. You know, and like I said, going through all those things is finding that. I think for myself, I was working at Cable for like 8 years, right? And I thought that was it for me, right? And it was funny because when I got the job, I was going to school at Gibbs, and they introduced me to this job. And I was like, but when everybody that gets that job, they kind of like, it's almost get into this like mindset of like everything becomes Cablevision, like their whole lives, everything and stuff like that, like. I guess almost in like a cult fashion, I guess you could say. Right. and I lived it because again, and the thing about that is we were ridiculously overpaid, bro. I mean, for what we were doing, there was on storms and on certain holidays and stuff, we were getting triple pay. So you thinking about, I'm sitting at my desk making $100 an hour just to sit here to tell somebody to unplug their modem and plug it back in. You know, so my whole vision was like, I got so wrapped up, like, you know, I need to be a manager, supervisor, call center. You know, it was all about Cablevision. My family, or none of the holidays is like, yo, you gonna come over Christmas? Like, what you mean Christmas? No.
I got work.
No, I'm working.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Hurricane Katrina hit and all that stuff. And they was giving us a storm pay, which was triple pay. We could work up to 16 hours for 6 days a week. Yo, I was working. I'm just going in there every day. Boom. They had like the Friday, yo, your 16 hours is up. You got to go home. I'm like, yeah, bro, nah, let me finish the last call. You know, and I was so lost. And it goes to something else that I know you've seen Shark Tank, man, and you know Mr. Wonderful, and he said this thing that I read recently, and I thought back on my Cablevision thing which is so true. And he says, a salary is a drug a company gives you to forget about your dreams. And I was there I didn't think about anything else.
So let me pause you right now. A salary is a drug that a company gives you to forget about your dreams. You worked 16 hours. You said no to your family, holidays, and so many other things that we don't know about. Have you ever worked that hard for yourself?
I started to recently, man. That's what and my wake-up call, like I said, everything happens for a reason. I was doing all that, right? I just had my daughter. I was like, yeah, I'm going to keep moving up. I just became supervisor. I'm making all this money and stuff like that. And a year after my daughter was born, our company was sold, and they fired all of us. Everybody. So I went from 8 years, like, you know, making this company. I was like, yo, this is going to be my thing. And I was already starting to have sour grapes because when my daughter was born, I think that's the wonderful thing about kids is you really start to look at things differently, right? Mm-hmm. And I was there, and two things happened. Number one, my grandmother passed away in Puerto Rico, right? And I go to my manager, and I'm like, listen, you know, my grandmother passed away. She's in Puerto Rico, and I need to go to the funeral, take some time off or whatever. And they looked at me as like, well, Freddie, you don't have any more time. So if you go, you're most likely going to get written up. But my grandmother just died, man. Like, I'm in more, and the only thing you talk about, like, you're going to get written up. Like, and that was one of my first wake up calls. Like, you don't really care about me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sitting here busting my ass for you, but yeah, you worried I'm not going to be here because the customer is more important. You know what I mean? So I'm going through all this to be here for you. And I was like, nah, that's not going. I can't do that. That's already my thing. I was like, I got to figure something else out. You know, and then my daughter was born, and I already had a situation with my dad, and like I said, my dad was at the house, but for all my special things at school, like concert, choir, plays, graduations, all those things, he never showed up. Wasn't his thing, you know what I mean? And I understood my dad for his person that he is, and I kind of got that, but still, you know, that hurts, like, you know what I mean? Like, I want my dad to be there. Like, it was so bad. Like, I told my dad from when I was getting married to my wife, I told him, I said, listen, Dad, I understood you ain't show up for anything else, but if you don't show up for my wedding, we gonna have some serious problems. There's no excuse. I don't want to hear nothing about it. Like, you need to be at my wedding. And he was there all day long, the longest thing, you know what I'm saying? Because I had that conversation with him. I started thinking, like, if I would have had that conversation sooner, maybe it would have been different, but I got to move on. But anyway, with the whole thing with Cablevision, and I was like, you know, I'm going to be there for all my daughter's appointments, everything. My wife had an appointment to be there. I was there, you know? And then one time I needed to get some time off, and I couldn't for one of the appointments. And even though it wasn't that big of a deal, again, my job was like, well, you need to do this, so you can't have the time off. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I can't have somebody tell me what I could do with my time, what I can't do with my time. Right. And then they laid us off, left me off in the wind. You know what I'm saying? I gave you like 8 years of my life where I just focused on you solely.
Sacrificing everything.
You know what I mean? Like I said, like you said, I said no to my family, holidays, sitting here, like, you know what I mean? Like, so involved in here, giving my soul to you. And just like that, like, you going. You know what I'm saying? And that was like my turn. I was like, you know, I got to figure something out. And that's when I really started that struggle of trying to find my purpose. Like, what am I meant to do? What I need to do, and all those things. And that's how I ended up doing this. And I love it, you know. And like you say, you get that every single week, every conversation I have with somebody, it's that, man. I must get an affirmation from God because I just get this feeling of such empowerment, like enlightenment. It's like, and everybody's sitting here like, man, that was a beautiful show. That's powerful. I'm getting messages from people or all these things like, man, this is great. What you're doing is wonderful. And when I tell people what I'm doing, my show was about, they're just like, oh my God, like we need that. We need that. You know, so like you said, yeah, you know, I'm not going to focus about the money. Right. I'm not. I need to focus on what I'm doing here because what I'm doing here is going to really leave an impact. It's going to be that ripple effect in that lake. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And eventually the money will come. I know that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not going to sweat it right now.
It comes. It comes.
I mean, I'm struggling to have those feelings now because, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I want it, but I know what I need to do. You know what I mean? And really got to focus on what I need to do and really divert that money. Because I got, like you just said down too, like all the energy I was driving into that company, and I got nothing to show for it now.
Yo, man, listen. Shout out to all my people that are jumping in online right now. I just need to make sure you understand, never work harder for someone else than you do for yourself. Never work harder for someone else than you do for yourself. I used to work 10 hours at a job, travel 1 hour, travel back 1 hour, 12 hours plus a day. I was mandated to make 100 phone calls for someone else. And at the time, this is when I first started writing my book. So it was like, okay, I'm tired, man. I just worked like 12 hours. I made 100 phone calls talking to people all day. I don't want to talk to nobody else. I don't want to do nothing else. But I thought to myself, why in the world would I give somebody else 12 hours and not give myself 12 minutes? Do something. I was tired. Yeah, I ate. I took a shower. I did whatever I needed to do to relax. But I needed to make sure I did something for myself that day, and I worked hard. It doesn't matter if it's 20 minutes. It doesn't matter if it's an hour, whatever time you allot, make sure you go just as hard as you did for that company that doesn't care about you. They would fire you at a drop of a dime.
Yeah. Listen, how wild is this? And I don't know if you know that a couple months ago or recently there's a huge strike with Frito-Lay. Now, the whole reason because is that apparently somebody in the factory, right, working on the factory line in the chip company or whatever, dropped dead on the clock at work. And management was just like, all right, we're going to move him to the side, but y'all got to keep on working. A dude just died, like right here. And get this, like, we're going to just sweep him to the side.
Yeah, move on.
And just, you know, you over here take his spot and we're going to keep going. Like the inhumanity, like what?
No remorse. Yeah. You
know what I mean? And like you said, it doesn't have to be like that. Because like you say, listen, everybody out there who's working a 9 to 5 is not going to tell me that at least 30% of their day, they BSing. You know what I'm saying? Like you just making up stuff not to do anything. You run to the bathroom, you checking your phone, you just mind things like that, whatever.
Stuff up. Nah.
So you really not giving them your hard-earned time. But if you take, you know what I'm saying, at night, you finish that 9 to 5, you go home, you say, you know what, these next 2 hours I'm just going to dedicate to myself. You'd be far more productive than those 6-7 hours you were in that company.
That's a fact.
And you'll be a lot farther in your life personally to move away from that company.
Yeah, and I wanna say shout out to everyone that's working full time, that is chasing their dreams part time. Right, it's important. I need you to treat your job as your primary investor. Hear me out. There's no other company in the world that's gonna pay you $40, $50, $60, $70, $80,000 a year to invest in your dreams. Your job pays you to pay your bills, and it pays you to live your life, and it pays you to invest in whatever you want to invest in. So if you think about your job as your primary investor, you're going to go hard for that job. Take that money and go hard for yourself. It's a blessing. An entrepreneurial nightmare is not having enough money to reinvest in themselves. Being a full-time entrepreneur, I don't care what your favorite influencer makes you believe, that shit is hard.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it is.
if you're able to have a steady flow of income and reinvest it in yourself, take that opportunity and run with it. Collect your benefits, all of your paycheck, live your life, pay your bills, and invest in your dreams and get it to the point, let it grow to the point where that's your primary source of income. I was struggling working full time for myself, and I thought that everybody was a full time entrepreneur. These people are lying to you if they tell you that they're working full time. No. They're working at their job and they're investing in their businesses. That frees your mind, that frees your time. I know you're thinking like, oh, maybe if I work full time for myself, I could do the X, Y, and Z. No. Working a job is a luxury. Take that income, reinvest in yourself.
Definitely. You know what I'm saying? And really go in and go hard for yourself and make your dreams happen. You know what I mean? It's going to take some time. It's going to struggle. But at the end, when you really get that ball rolling, you're able to walk away, it's going to be so, you know what I'm saying?
It's an incredible feeling, bro. My last day working corporate America, I went to the conference room and I was dancing on the tables. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I was literally dancing on the conference room tables because I knew that I was never gonna work for somebody else for the rest of my life. I've never looked back. It was January 7th, 2019 was my last day working corporate America. I literally danced on the conference room tables. I never looked back since.
Go. And I know you said about things was the entrepreneurship and stuff you learned from your dad and you seen that from your father. So going on, like I said, part of my show is all about a relationship with having an important male role model in your life. So give us a little insight of what your relationship with your father's like.
Shout out to my dad, Eric and Michel. My dad's incredible, man. Still in my life right now. He's been married to my mom for 38 years. Not saying that it's been perfect, not saying that it's been happily ever after, but what I'm saying is that he taught me what being a man looked like, what being a husband looked like, what being a father looked like. I learned my work ethic from him. I learned how to persevere from him. I learned how to be disciplined from him. My mom worked because it was supplementary income, not because she needed to work for us to survive. So my dad took care of all the household bills. Like I learned how to be a man because of him. So early on, he was very, very discipline oriented. So I was very straight and narrow, but I learned a lot from my dad, but I also taught my dad a lot. I taught him how to love. I said I love you to my dad before he said it to me, because that's not what his dad taught him.
Right.
His dad taught him discipline, so he passed that down to me. But I learned my loving and nurturing side from my mom. So I was the first one that told my dad I love him. And since then, he's been really, he really opened up to his loving side. And that is a common phrase between us now, you know? And I understand that I come from a space of privilege because the dudes from my neighborhood, they didn't have a dad. And if they did have a dad, he was in jail. And if they did have a dad, he was already dead. So for me to learn life principles from my father was a privilege. So I don't take that for granted at all. And you know what's crazy? I went to church one day. My dad was hosting the church event. I said, my dad is a dope speaker. He can really control the room. And I said, wait a minute. That's where I get that from. I get that from him. I wasn't just born a speaker. I wasn't just naturally given the ability to be comfortable in front of a large crowd. I got that from my dad. So watching him in action, I was in awe. I was like, wow, you really doing your thing. So I said, oh, that's where I get that from. So my dad has taught me so much, but he's passed down a lot to me too, that he's never actually had to physically say, hey, this is how you control the crowd.
Right.
He's never had to say that. It was an innate ability that I received from him, so I don't know what your relationship is with your dad, anyone who's watching, or listening in, but there's a lot of things that are in you naturally because of your father. Tap into that. Tap into the great parts of it. I don't know. Again, even if you don't have a great relationship with your dad, tap into the great parts about it. If your mom is not a speaker or different things that you notice within yourself, just understand those great parts about you come from your dad. Whether he's a great man, whether he's been in your life or not, or whatever the case may be, just embrace your uniqueness, embrace your dopeness, embrace every great quality that is within you and cultivate that.
Yeah, man, we gotta love ourselves, and that's a huge thing. Is really, and I gotta admit that, and I know that I've struggled a lot because I didn't love myself for a very long time.
Yeah, I need you to talk about that, bro. What does that mean exactly? What happened?
So, you like hearing stuff like that. So you know what? And I'll give you a little insight because I wrote a poem about it, right? And everything that I was feeling, I kind of let out. So, and go like this. Hear me out, because I got to confess. I got a whole lot of shit to get up off my chest. See, all my life, I've been afraid to be who I want to be. It's pretty creepy. See a mirror, but I don't see me. I see a person in the frame, and it's kind of insane to just mess with my brain and make it hard to maintain. It's way too much to handle all at one damn time. The person looking back at me make me want to rewind. Back to when I was younger and I had no neck, and all the kids used to point and laugh and disrespect. See, all I wanted was to fit in and chill with them. That's when my little issue grew to be a big problem. I started to believe the being me was wrong, so now I'm clearing out my head while I write this poem. Everybody criticized me just to make me cry, and there was plenty of times I just wanted to die. I even faked sick just to get out of school because all the kids in my class were just way too cruel. See, growing up was real hard being teased all the time. It made me just clam up and I speak my mind. So being scared just to think and say how I feel makes your boy even wonder if I'm even real.
Yo, drop some bombs on yourself, bro. Drop some bombs on yourself, man. Come on now. Oh, it's right at the top right. Right there, yeah. Drop some bombs on yourself, man. Yo, I felt the energy in that. I felt how you were even tearing up as you were saying that, bro.
Yeah, man. And that's one of the things that for, at least for my daughter and my son, is that I let them be them. Be silly, be weird, be quirky, be whatever you want to be. It's okay. See, one of the biggest things when I came from is that where I kind of had a misstep with my dad in this situation. Because again, yeah, I was getting overweight and stuff like that when I was younger. And remember one night my dad came home drunk as hell and just went in on me. All sorts of, man, you fat and it's unhealthy and this, that. Went in. And that same night, I remember went to my mom. I was like, yo, mom, I hate him. I hate that man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I get all that at school. Every time I walk out of these doors, I got to deal with that. All these kids pointing, making fun of me and stuff like that. And one time it was in middle school, man. I was in the hallway going to my locker, man. This kid ran up and he was always messing with me, man. Always messing with me. And he was like, yo, what's up, tits? And I chased him down the hallway and I picked him up over the balcony, man. Over the second floor. And the Spanish teacher caught me. And that was she I had to put him down and stuff. And then I had to go to anger management. For so long, every Friday my lunch, I had to sit there with the guidance counselor for anger management and talk about my feelings and all those things. And it's because of that, like, I always just felt like I was being so criticized by everybody else. And I just was like, how do I fit in? That's like I said, I developed my ability to be a chameleon, to kind of blend in and change and adapt to all my situations just to kind of suit the color of the room.
Right.
But not be me.
Yourself, yes.
You know, so I was like,
Yeah.
and as I started learning more, and I like, you know what, and as I started getting older, and you know, one of those things, like I said, it was by Winston Churchill. He said, you know, when you're 20, you think that everybody's talking about you. When you're 40, you don't care what anybody thinks, and when you're 60, you realize nobody was thinking about you in the first place. You know what I mean? So I started to realize, like, you know, ain't nobody thinking about me. Everybody gonna move on, and yeah, they might say mean things or criticize me, poke fun of me. But why do I gotta dwell on that? Because they're gonna say that and move on with their lives and not think about me again tomorrow. But I'm gonna sit here and complain and cry and whimper and feel bad about myself because somebody else told me something. I had, again, like we said, I am beautiful. I'm brave. I'm strong.
Affirmations
you know
are
what I'm
important,
saying?
man.
So that's where I had to learn to really love myself and appreciate me for who I am and really just not worry about anybody else.
A lot of people look at the fruit, but don't look at the root. They see the results. Yo, this kid is angry. Hell yeah, he's angry. What led to that point, though? You know, there's a lot of things going on in school. There's a lot of things going on in his household. There's a lot of things going on in his mind that is leading him to be this angry. There's a lot of stuff that you, on a surface level, it just looks like you're mad or you're angry or you punched this kid or whatever the case may be. But what led to that? Yo, you held someone over a balcony, but you were at your wit's end. You were at your last straw. You've been picked on for over years, and you finally retaliated. But on the surface, like, yo, this kid is crazy. He just held somebody over a balcony. He needs to be in detention somewhere. No, he needs to talk to somebody. You know, so we don't promote therapy enough in the Black community. We don't promote mental health enough in the Black community. We don't have an outlet to escape.
Listen, and that's why it took so long, because again, like I've suffered through so much depression and anxiety and all those things. And, you know, when you try to talk to somebody about it, it's like, oh, man up. Be strong. Don't worry about it, man. You good.
Those are the most toxic words that we can hear.
You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, somebody else out there got it worse than you. I ain't worried about them. I'm worried about me and my situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, so for myself, man, like, listen, and for the long time, and I guess speaking about this too, is that through my depression, man, I think everybody in my family drank. You know what I mean? I'm not big on drinking because I seen all the violence and all that stuff. But I used to smoke so much weed and really just try to drown and numb myself through that. You know what I mean? Because I didn't want to face my own insecurities. I didn't want to face my demons. I didn't want to face any of these things. I just wanted to numb up, laugh, and go to sleep.
Fred, we drink our pain away. We smoke our pain away. We sex our pain away. We gamble our pain away. We fight our pain away. We cut ourselves and hurt our pain away. It's very rare that we heal. It's very rare that we talk. So I think that's one thing that we need to make cool. You know, that's why I always pick up Charlemagne the God. He's making therapy okay again. You know, it was so stigmatized. You're crazy. You're going to see a doctor because of what you're experiencing? You're crazy. No, you're not crazy. That's healthy. So one thing that Charlemagne said is that you can go to a gym by yourself. Yeah. But when you have a personal trainer at the gym, they can teach you how to exercise right. They can teach you the different ways that you can use this particular machine. They can help you maneuver better. A psychiatrist, a counselor, a therapist is a personal trainer for your mind. Yeah. I've never looked at it that way until he said that. So now I'm like, oh yeah, I need to see a therapist. Not because I feel like anything is wrong, but because I need to make sure everything is right. Because I need to make sure I know how to work this machine. My brain is a machine. It's the most important organ in my body. I need to make sure this is healthy. So why not go to a specialist for me? You're going to seek a personal trainer for the gym. Why not seek a personal trainer for your mind?
Right. And we got to make sure it's okay and make sure that we're good mentally, because if not, man, we will break. And there was a lot of times, like I said, I've been in some very, very dark situations, very dark situations. And I've been pulled from the brink of that, like I said, from God, from my ancestors, because I feel that too. Like, what I mean? Like my ancestors, the people in my family that were, that I knew and passed on, always look after me. And help me in my time of needs and in my darkest hours. And just being okay to say that, because a lot of people will say, like, oh, you talk ancestors, you crazy, so these spirits, whatever, man, it works for me, man. I'm good. I'm good. You know what I mean? So that's what makes me happy about that.
So Maya Angelou once said, bring in the gift that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave.
Love Maya Angelou.
Our ancestors passed down so much to us. It's a gift. They used to dream. They used to dream about black men speaking to each other
freely.
Come on now. Reading, writing books. Come on now. This is a dream. Bringing the gift that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. Black men used to get killed for communicating, for writing, for reading. And we do it freely without even thinking about it.
So, definitely got to be grateful for all those things and everything that we've gotten here. So for you, and just moving on, because I know like there's a lot of things to talk about, but I want to know about, you said was it January 7th? Said 2019, you walked away. And my question to you is how did Young Executive and the Royal Community came to be? Like, how did that happen? When did that ignite? Or when did you have that vision? And how did you go about it when you got it?
I don't believe in coincidences, right? So Young Executive was actually my screen name for Twitter. People had to convince me to get Twitter. So Young Executive was my screen name. And I came up with the name Young Executive because when I was in college, I was working with a network marketing company called Legal Shield, and I became the youngest executive director in the state of Maryland. I learned from my mentor.
Shout that out real quick.
Yes. Shout out to my mentor, Mr. Darnell Self, Michael Humes. I learned how to present. I learned how to train. I learned how to recruit. I learned how to be resilient. I learned what books to read that would help me personally develop. I learned so many things. And I grew to the point where I was known as the campus CEO. Shout out to Morgan State University. I became the campus CEO. Everyone knew, oh, Carl's on campus, he's about his business. I used to rock suits on campus. I picked one day out the week to rock a suit on campus. Everyone was like, yo, who is that? Oh, that's the Young Executive. That's the Young Executive. When I went and I became the executive director in Legal Shield, they were like, oh, yeah, that's the Young Executive. So that name kind of just stuck with me. I used it as a screen name, but long story short, God used that as my brand. I thought that was just some random thing that people used to call me, but God turned that into my empire, and that came after 1 year of fasting from drinking. He made me realize that it's not you're going to be executive director of this network marketing company. You're going to be young executive of your own brand. Because I was young executive of my own brand, because God granted me the idea for my book, 365 Hip-Hop Daily Motivational Quotes, I was able to use the book as a launching pad to my career. I became a best-selling author in multiple countries, so international best-selling author. I became an executive producer with the Youth Empowerment Show. I became a global ambassador. I became an executive producer, like I said. I became a writing coach. Now we have, I think, 33 best-selling authors. I became a facility owner. Like, all that happened after I used my book as a launching pad to my career. So Young Executive was a reward that God gave me. And the Royal Communication Center came after 1 year of praying online. After 1 year of praying online, me being obedient to what God wanted me to do, I was cutting the ribbon right here.
It's a beautiful thing, man. And you've done so much, and you're doing so much for podcasters like myself, artists. You got the studio over here to record and all that stuff, and also to take photography and stuff. And like you mentioned too, I want to get into that too, because you said you got 33 bestsellers. You know, then that is huge.
Wait, hold on. They can't hear me online. Can you hear me? I'm listening, bro.
Yeah, so that became huge and stuff. So tell us a little bit about your best-selling book, man. And what's in there? Let's talk about that.
Now we talking. All right. There's no sound online. I don't know what's going on. But 365 Hip-Hop Daily Motivational Quotes. Every day you get a different inspirational quote from a different rapper or singer. Every day you get a positive message from me, and every single day you get a daily affirmation. Okay? So the idea for the book came about because I was seeing so many amazing, I'm not sure why they can't hear me. Every day I was getting, I was running into kids all over the place that were super intelligent. They could read all the, they could recite all the lyrics. They could do all the dance moves, but they were struggling in school. So I wanted to create something that allowed the kids to receive the positive message from their biggest influencers. Because at the time, every time I turned on the radio, I heard a destructive message: sex, drugs, money, violence. Same message, different beat. So I'm like, why don't I take the positive lyrics of the biggest influencers, add my motivation and a daily affirmation to it? So that's exactly what I did.
That's beautiful, man. And how many copies? You know how many copies you sold offhand?
Thousands. Right now I think and not a crazy number, but a little bit over 10,000 books sold. So it's been a blessing.
That's wonderful, man. That's wonderful, man. And then you kind of wind down here, but what would you say is your well, before that too, because I want to understand, man, on your journey going through here and going through everything that you've going through to become who you are today, what has been your hardest struggle so far?
That's a good question. I want to say the hardest struggle is embracing my uniqueness. When I was young, I didn't think I was cool. And because I didn't think I was cool, I became a follower. Yeah. And because I became a follower, I was influenced by so many people that were not who God intended me to be influenced by. I really thought that the local hustler was the coolest person on the planet. He had everything I thought I wanted: the cars, the clothes, the money, the girls. I really thought the rapper was the coolest person on the planet. He was gangster. He had all of those things that I didn't have.
Right.
So I tried to be everything that I wasn't. I tried to be everybody else. So I became a follower. So that was my biggest struggle growing up. up until my early adulthood. Like that didn't stop for a very long time. Yeah, so that was my big struggle.
Yeah, no, that runs deep, man. And how would you say you kind of got over that, or did you learn to like? Was there like an aha moment? Did you just?
Yeah, absolutely. It took for me. It took for me to get a mentor that I looked up to. For me to see things differently. For the first time in my life, I saw a young black millionaire. He looked like me. He was cool as hell. He was funny, charismatic, never sold drugs, never played ball, and he wasn't a rapper. He was a business guy. And that was the first time I saw, like, okay, maybe I could be me. Maybe I could be myself. Maybe I could figure out, what makes me cool. And that's when I took myself seriously and I ran with it. And by me developing my own skills, my own, abilities, and embracing everything God made me to be, that's when I started thriving in business.
Like, there was another quote. I just love a bunch of quotes too. Is just say, "Why fit in when you can stand out?" You know what I mean? Like
That's huge. You weren't born to fit in.
no, none of us were. None of us were. And I say that all the time. Like so many of us, right? And let's look at going back at us from the hood, right? All of us, we grew up in the hood, right? We seen the same drug dealers. We seen the same problems, the same fights, the same violence. How is it that everybody turns out different though? Ain't no cookie cutter approach. Even into like personal, like me and my sister, right? Grew up in the same household together. Same things, you know what I'm saying? And again, I'm not saying that nobody, think about drinking, but she drinks on the weekends, they have party, they do that, that's her thing. That's not my scene. My family, they get to me when we get together and stuff like that. They got to convince me to drink a beer. And I just have one just because I know that's how they socialize. I'm like, I'll have a beer or two with you guys, just to kind of partake in your things. But they all know, like, he don't drink. Freddie don't drink. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but we grew up in the same exact environment. We seen the same exact thing, but we still took different roles because we're meant to be different. We're meant to be unique.
Ooh, say that again.
You know what I'm saying?
Say
Just
that
like
again.
that. We're meant to be different and we're meant to be unique. You know what I'm saying? We're meant to be special. That's it.
So, again, hip-hop quotes. There's two quotes that I want to quote in here from some of the greatest of all time. One from Tupac and one from Jay-Z. Tupac says, just because you're in the ghetto doesn't mean you can't grow. We grow from the books we read, the people we hang out with, and our experiences. So it doesn't matter where you start from. You can start from anywhere. And you can really take things to another level based on the amount of knowledge that you have. Oh, Talib Kweli. This is the third quote. Talib Kweli. Shout out to Kweli. He just reposted me the other day.
Oh, nice.
Kweli said, the flower that blooms in the ghetto knows more about survival than the ones from fresh meadows. You gain so much resources, skills, and an innate ability being from the hood. Not a lot of people can start from literally nothing and make something out of that. You're special. You're special. I didn't look at it that way. I didn't look at myself as special. But the flower that blooms in the ghetto knows more about survival than the ones from fresh meadows. Jay-Z says I'm different. I can't base what I'm gonna be off of what everybody isn't. So if you look around and there's no examples of success, that means you need to be the example. I don't care how many people have tried and failed. That means they ain't you and you ain't them, because I'm different. So all this talk about our environment being from the hood and all these other things, not seeing examples of success, like, yo, You got to focus on your future, not your present. When we focus on our present, we think about all the things that we cannot do. When we think about our future, we think about all the possibilities. Kanye West said, before I had it, I closed my eyes and imagined the good life. He said that when he was a struggling producer in the hood of Chicago. Multi-billionaire right now. It doesn't matter where you start from. If you have faith in God and you have faith in yourself, literally anything is possible.
No, definitely, man. And then it's also this book that I was reading too, The Mindset Makeover, right? This is a little story, right? And it goes like, there was a man who had 2 sons, right? Now this man, he wasn't a great father. He was into gambling, to drugs, violence, was constantly going in and out of jail, right? Now his sons grew up seeing that. Now, one of his sons grew up to be his mirror image, even worse, actually. He's locked up in jail constantly. He's now serving life for crimes he committed. His other son is a successful businessman, rich beyond his wildest dreams. Now, there was somebody who was intrigued by their story, and when they interviewed the brothers, and they asked him, you know, how did you become this? Like, how did you end up here? And they both gave the exact same answer. With a father like mine, what would you expect? See, it's not about that. It's their mindset was different. One knew he had to be better than his dad, and one believed he couldn't be better than his dad. And that's the difference. It's all about your power of your mind and where you see yourself and what you envision and what you put in, what you feed yourself. Because they're saying they could have said nothing but once and no, I got to be better. I got to do better. I can't be in the streets looking like what a bad example this is. His mindset was completely different. And the other one just gave up hope. Like, you know what? If that's what my dad is, that's what I got to be. I ain't got no other option. But it's not that way. It's all about what you think and what you believe. And that's how you move yourself ahead. You know?
Yo, you got to give a round of applause to yourself, man. Press that button, man. Press that button. That's fire.
Now, we winding down here, so I got 2 last questions for you, right? So the first question is this, man. For you, you had a mentor, you've seen a line that's going in your life right now. Right. What has been the best advice you've ever received so far?
There's been a lot of advice I've gotten from my parents. I've gotten a lot of advice from friends. I've gotten a lot of advice from family. But I'll give y'all some financial advice because this is more universal and it's going to help a lot of people, hopefully, that listen to this. My rich dad, Darnell Self. I call him my rich dad because he was very wealthy. And it wasn't just about the money that he had, but it was about his mindset. You know, my personal dad had an amazing work ethic, but there were some things that he could not teach me about wealth because he wasn't wealthy. So my first year out of college, I worked really, really hard. I made about $33,500. So $33,500 for the year, including overtime. And I'm like, man, I work really hard. I deserve a life of luxury. So I'm going to buy a luxury car. I'm living with my mom, don't have a house, don't even have an apartment. I'm like, I deserve a luxury car. Okay. I got approved for a Mercedes. Mercedes was about $30,000. I was making 33. The car was 30. So I said, I deserve this car. I talked to my rich dad and I talked to my, biological father. I said, hey, this is the car that I got approved for. my dad said, go for it. You know, I'm like, but Dad, this is like what I make. This is what the car payments are going to be. I could do it. He's like, yeah, go for it. And my rich dad was like, no, don't go for it. Don't do that. I said, why not? I deserve it. And he said, Carl, it's something I never forget. He said, Carl, sometimes the things we buy to make ourselves look rich are the same things that are keeping us poor. And he speaks in parables, of course, like a rich man, wise man would. He said, if you take two millionaires making the same exact amount of money, one buys a 10-bedroom mansion with a Bentley. The other buys a 3-bedroom home with a Honda. Which one looks richer? I'm like, yeah, the guy with the Bentley in the house. He said, which one is richer? The guy with the Honda. Liquidity is the name of the game. It's not about how much money you make. It's about how much money you keep. If you buy the Bentley and you buy the 10-bedroom mansion, you don't have any money left. But if you buy the modest house and you buy the Honda Accord, you got a lot of money left. He said, Carl, if you buy that Benz right now, are you going to have any money to take the girl on the date that you want to impress? I said, nah, I ain't going to have no money left. He said, what happens when you pop a tire? What happens when that luxury car needs maintenance? What happens when there's an unexpected bill? You won't have anything left. So that's when I realized I couldn't buy that car, even though I got approved for it by the grace of God. I don't know how I got approved for it. He said, don't buy that car. The craziest thing that happened after he gave me that amazing advice, I got a promotion at my job, and they gave me a company car. So I had a car. I didn't need to buy that car. If I went and bought that car, I would have been struggling with the payments, and I wouldn't been able to get the company car that was complimentary with that promotion.
So say it was just, and I went through that too, man. I got lucky and I just got ahead of myself. My thing is, man, growing up, I say this in Spanish, man. I like to learn con la cara contra el piso, with my face against the floor. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just got to take them L's, and that's what's going to be like the wake-up call for me. You know, so that happened to me, man. When I got into a car accident, I wanted to get her a car. I actually won something on 105 to go down to Major World to try to start a car.
Yes.
I didn't win the car, but they gave me like $1,500 down, and I got approved for my dream. Well, the car that I wanted at the time was a Jeep Grand Cherokee. And that day I drove off the lot, and I was like, yeah, man, I was big dog on campus and stuff like that. Yep. In total, I was paying $1,000 a month just for my car. Between the car note and the insurance was about $1,000 and some change a month, you know. And I was going through all this stuff, and then I learned the hard way, man. One morning my dad comes into my room and he was like, "Yo, Freddie, where your car at?" So what you mean? I parked it out there in the corner. He was like, "Go look." I went out there. My car got repoed, man. And then it is hit. Then that was one of those times again. I learned the hard way. I was like, you know what? That $1,000 I was paying for that car, I could have got me my own place. Could have been out of here. You know what I'm saying, and doing something else. You know, so I had to learn the hard way. So and that's what's been my teacher in the finance thing until I started learning again, reading these books and getting this stuff and getting properly educated, because my parents don't know anything about wealth. They don't know any better. They know how to live paycheck to paycheck. That's what they could teach me. And no shade on them. You know what I'm saying? They work hard, they gave me that work ethic and stuff like that, but that's what they could teach me. I had to find out and learn. You know what I'm saying? The difference between being rich and being wealthy. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a huge difference. And you chose your words carefully as you've been saying that. Like you said, you know what I'm saying? Wealthy. You used wealthy constantly. And that's the big thing, is that wealthy and rich. The big difference is time, right? Because like you said, that dude could have that 10 mansion house or whatever, you know what I mean, with that Bentley. But how long is he gonna be able to live on his money?
Mm-hmm.
Not very long at all. You know what I'm saying? So that's the key is wealth, is how much you keep and how long you can live off of your money for a long time. And that's something that we all need to teach, especially our young black kids and stuff like that at a very, very young age. Because again, they grow up like, yo, I want to be a basketball, so I want to be a rapper, I want to be a football. And that's all fine and dandy. If you could do it, if you got the skills, you got the talent, go for it, man. Do it. Be big. But be smart about your money, because if you get injured, you get hurt, you know what I'm saying? People don't like your music, stop listening, you fall out of things. Then what? Where's your money gonna get you?
Yeah.
You know? So we gotta teach them now how to be wealthy and not just rich. So lastly, now my last question for you is this. And you know, we got a lot of young kids. That's the whole thing, is looking out for the younger generation, teaching them. And from your life experiences, from the things that you've been through, what is some advice you would give them?
No one is you. That's your superpower. I didn't think it was cool to be smart. I didn't think it was cool to be me. I thought I had to fit into something I was not. You were not born to fit in. You were born to stand out. Embrace your uniqueness. Whatever God put inside of you, it's different from everybody else.
Yes.
So don't try to conform into something that you're not. I didn't think it was cool to be smart, so I stopped doing my homework. I stopped turning in assignments. The teachers are like, why are you not doing the things that I know you're capable of? My friends were like, why are you hanging out with these dudes? No, I didn't have an answer. Those the homies. That's not an answer. I was a follower. So my advice to you is embrace your uniqueness. You're dope as you are. Yeah, you're weird. You're quirky. You're smart. You're super intelligent. You're different. You don't have the coolest clothes. You don't have the designer labels. None of that matters. Be you. Explore your talents. Explore your gifts. Explore every single thing that God gave you. You're dope as hell. You're actually cooler than the guys that you think are cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're cooler than the guys you think are cool. That's a blessing. Do you?
Definitely, man. Definitely preach on that, man. Everybody, like I said, find your talent, embrace yourself, love yourself more than anybody else. Because at the end of the day, you the one that got to look in the mirror every single day.
Mm-hmm.
You got to look back at what you see and be happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if you're not happy with it, find what makes you happy.
Right.
Everybody's happiness is different. Everybody's happiness is different. Don't compare yourself to anybody else or try to want the same thing that somebody else has, because you may not want that and they may not want what you have. And that's okay. That's a beautiful thing. That means there's more for you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much, Carl, for number one, just creating such a beautiful place for us podcasters and people like that to be creatives and come in here and do our thing.
Oh, boy.
Thank you for being such an inspirational role model to these young kids, your youth empowerment program, you know, all the things that you do to help influence and guide our younger generation on the right path. You know, continue to do that. We want to support you any which way we can. And on that, like I tell everybody else, man, no matter who you are, no matter what you've done, your big brother loves you. Stay blessed, everybody.
Hey, let's go.